Okay, hello. I've tried to fix the audio so it won't be too soft, and this is a new format to be doing a video diary. I've probably done one or two before, but I'm in Edinburgh. I'm in an Airbnb. I felt pretty depressed for most of today until I've taken about 4 Dexies. I've been on a trip to try and get away from being depressed, which the last little while I haven't been taking Dexies. Not that they have been enabling me to do things back home. I actually do feel much more enabled. That's one of the things that I've noticed here, is that when I take Dexies, I have been working on the parser program, or have felt more excited, inclined to explore. Spending a week with Minnie, with another person, was really helpful. I've also been reflecting a lot on this new complex post-traumatic stress disorder, identity/diagnosis, and thinking a lot about my self-narrative, and feeling weird about not feeling at all excited, like a massive anhedonia. And on top of all of that, feeling a lot of the time and effort that I put into like pulling myself away from YouTube addiction and phone addiction and internet addiction feel like they've been withering. Luckily I haven't really been doing much on the phone, but while I've been depressed here in Edinburgh and through the parts of time that I was in Barcelona, I've been spending time on YouTube, and then I blocked Reddit and YouTube and then Reddit, and then I blocked those two things, and now like clawing at the crumbs of like Facebook and the fake Instagram account that I have to look at other people's Instagram, because I don't want to have my own feed, and a lot of porn, and it's not good. I'm making a video on this camera rather than doing it on the computer. I think one, because it feels a little bit nice to try out a new forum, and for the second reason of like, I'm thinking about posting this just in the sense that I feel like one of my biggest walls when it comes to sharing creative work, apologies for the sound in the background, is especially in the context of this CPTSD framework, is I am not good enough, I'll never be good enough, I need to prove that I have any kind of value or worth, because I was in a situation where that was no worth was a feeling or a sense, and some often a literal conviction from Dad of like me being a dysfunctional and what's the word, broken person, basically, and been working very hard, or convincing myself that I'm in fact not a broken person, and trying to reconstruct ideas of how I could be a exceptional person who would be worthy of love were Mum still alive, or continuing her sense of presence or my connection to her by being the person she would want me to be, as though I knew what that was. I mean, yeah, maybe this is a bit rambly, but trying to connect through Mum through unrealistic standards of, well, this would make me a good person. And then all of this also combines with, the ADHD factor, which is huge, that being a queer kid in a a very homophobic society thing, which is huge. There's lots of parts to it. Also, like, today's very, like, exacting and intense moral scrutiny of, like, what makes a good person, and this kind of, like, black and white mentality. Anyway, all of that, what was the conclusion of this? Yeah, makes, maybe that last part actually is less relevant, but the first parts were definitely relevant too. I never feel comfortable sharing anything that doesn't feel perfect or good enough, and I feel incredibly scared and anxious every time I have to produce anything which is meant to be a permanent or impressionable, like, trace of what my quality is as a person is. So I never post anything. The only art I've ever shared has been because I've been forced to at art school in many ways. And I don't take risks, or have become a less playful person because I've become less and less confident, because I produce less, get less feedback, feel less free and comfortable. Anyways, the idea of all of this is that I just, like, it might be nice to wipe, to just, like, spurt some shit out into the internet and not feel like it's attached to, it's in service of, like, trying to construct the perfect version of myself. And I mean, this is all, like, deeply personal, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll change my perspective on all of this and have a different narrative, and maybe I'll never upload this, or maybe I'll upload it and then take it down, and whatever. But yeah, this is an important part. I've been doing video diaries for, like, over a decade now, and I never post them, but they've always been a very helpful way for me to, like, reframe my narrative and iron out chinks in the way that I'm thinking, and recalibrate myself with my, like, meanings and values, and I think also, like, utilize a much healthier, more social part of my head, rather than staying in this I want to be, like, limbic flight or flight brain. I don't know if that's exactly the right neuroscience for it, but that's the feeling. But I think it's lost a bit of its charm to it, maybe since I think I had a feeling, I've lost a feeling in the last year that I feel certain that my life is going to be meaningful. And maybe I didn't have a certainty, but I had, like, at least a strong hope and a feeling of, like, you know, there's a good chance. And so when I make a video on photo booth on my laptop, I'm like, maybe someone's gonna look back on this, you know, whether or not it be, like, and this is the very narcissistic part of my brain, like an adoring fan from when I make incredible work, or whether or not it's just the idea of, like, I don't know, a grandchild or a friend. I've had both of those ideas in my mind when I've made those videos, but the idea that I may be talking to someone has always helped, and the feeling that anyone would ever care to watch these things, I think has made them less useful. And so like, why not kill two birds with one stone by uploading these? I don't know, but maybe that's also dumb, because I'll be, you know, talking my most deep and vulnerable parts of my soul to anyone on the internet. So that's maybe a really terrible idea, but I don't know. That's what I'm trying. Maybe even just using a different camera will be nice. Or maybe I'll choose to edit this, or maybe I won't. I don't know. Honestly, maybe I'll upload it. I feel like the idea of uploading this feels kind of good, in that it's like breaking the seal, and then I can always remove it, hopefully. Anyway, alright. That's 10 minutes. That's enough talking. Bye.